The Houston Astros missed the playoffs for the first time since 2016, and with even more key free agents likely to leave, could this be the end of the Astros' dominance in the American League West? Hello, my name is Avery Taylor, and welcome to Rebuild October, a series where we rebuild a new team every day across the month of October. So, whether you're looking for your favorite team or just generally curious as to how every team could approach the offseason, then this is the series for you. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into the video. As you can see from the war by position, there are definitely some cracks in the armor of the former top club. The outfield was fairly mediocre, and weirdly, first and second base also suffered. The pitching, and particularly the bullpen, was really good in 2025, but make no mistake about the war, the rotation will need a close look at during the offseason. However, before we can talk about adding to this team, we have to talk about who this team is on the hook to lose. The Astros are staring down the barrel of 5 unrestricted free agents that the team will unfortunately have to watch as all slip into the open market. The biggest loss will be Framber Valdez, who, despite trying to kill his catcher, had an incredible 6 season stretch with the Astros. Since 2020, Valdez has yet to have an ERA above 3.7 and would be a player that any team would love to have back. Unfortunately, due to the financial restraints, the Astros have pretty much evicted themselves from any extension table. For prospects that the team could turn to, the Stros actually have a few. Bryce Matthews is the highest rated of the bunch. He cracked the pipeline top 100 after 2 straight seasons of good production in the Astros system, but when he hit the major leagues, it kinda hit the fan. He was still hitting for his pop, but his hit tool, which already had some question marks, became a major concern. Matthews struck out 42% of the time at the major league level, and that is just way too much to be an everyday guy. It'll probably be best for him to start the year in the minor league. And the same could be said for Jacob Melton, who looked like he was melting at the plate with his 32 games of 419 OPS. A 419 OPS won't cut it no matter the pedigree you come in with, and he'll have to earn his way back to the major leagues next season. The first player who will make it to the major leagues from their prospect system is Miguel Yola. Miguel has some electric stuff. A 70 grade fastball and a plus slider will play for anybody. His only problem is that he can't control it. He was walking over 15% of the batters he faced at AAA in 2025. If he can get a wrangle on his pitches, he can be a very, very good reliever, and that's what we're counting on by letting him into the bullpen to start the season. Another player who did enough to earn a roster spot is AJ Bluebaugh, who weirdly looked better at the major league level than he did at AAA. In his 11 appearances in Houston, he had a 1.69 ERA and was striking out nearly 10 batters per 9 innings. The one knock would be that he gave up a considerable amount of home runs, and if the Astros want to try his hand as starting, he'll have to do better with the walks as well. However, with where the rotation is at, they need to take some risks, and Blue Ball will be one of them. And the final prospect to talk about is Zach Cole, who was a lightning rod for the Astros in his 15 games in 2025. His hit tool was always his biggest question mark, and we still saw some signs of that in 2025, striking out 38% of the time. However, if you can hit like Cole does, then a high strikeout rate is bearable. In a short sample, he had an 880 OPS with 4 homers and can play a serviceable center field. The real question is, can I give him a starting job over Jesus Sanchez after seeing him for just 15 games? Sure I can. We'll have Cole platooning in right versus right-handed pitching. Joining him in the starting lineup will be Yanier Diaz back at catcher, Christian Walker at first, Jose Altuve at second, Jeremy Pena at short, with Correa at third. Jordan Alvarez is forced back into left field with Jake Myers in center and Isaac Paredes at DH. James Smith will be the counterpart to the platoon in right field, with Jesus Sanchez on the bench and Mauricio Dubon claiming the utility role. That leaves just the backup catcher for positional players where the team will turn to free agency. Tomas Nido will be the catcher signed. He gives the Astros a much needed defensive improvement for Diaz. Offensively, he offers a little bit more than some of the defense heavy options available in free agency. For the rotation, they will return Hunter Brown as the ace, and then Christian Javier will grab the third spot in the rotation. However, for the final 2 spots, the Astros will need to turn to free agency. For the first free agent find, the team will grab Zach Little. Little has been very solid across his last 2 seasons, posting a 3.73 ERA in that time. He doesn't walk very many batters and gets a very respectable amount of strikeouts. He can struggle with the long ball from time to time, so the pairing to Minute Maid might not be the best, but he gives the rotation some desperately needed stability. And the final spot in the rotation will go to Lucas Giolito. Giolito finished the year actually missing the postseason with a flare-up on his throwing elbow. Initially, the injury appeared to spell disaster for the right-hander's career. However, upon a second look, it appears the injury will just require some rest, and they should be able to go by 2026. However, with 2 elbow injuries in 2 seasons, it'll likely turn a lot of teams off in free agency. this could be the chance for the Astros to grab a very solid number 2 option on a discount. Giolito appeared to have solved a lot of his home run issues in 2026 and was still posting decent underlying numbers. Another year removed from injury should mean the strikeout numbers get closer to his career norms and could be a very good sneaky signing for Houston. For the bullpen, they'll return Josh Hader, Bennett Souza, Ryan Abreu, Stephen Okert, Brian King, Jaden Murray, and Lance McCullers, who moved down to the bullpen. And that's going to do it for the video. The Astros have really strapped themselves in with the current players that they have without major trades going down. I just see the Astros just kind of staying where they're at. They are on a sinking ship with their hands tied by aging contracts.